competition under the direction of Major General Alexander McDonald. Salute to the winning legacy is this year's theme. Enjoy an evening of entertainment, food, live and silent auctions, and more. Purchase your tickets at FargoAirMuseum.org.
With over 900 vehicles in stock, Corwin Auto has you covered.
Looking for better fuel economy?
We have it with hybrids and electric vehicles.
Need more room for that growing family?
We have it. Upgrade to a van, SUV, or crossover.
Need more horsepower to work and play harder?
We have the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the area. Get exactly what you are looking for and don't settle when you can shop over 900 vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Corwin Auto has you covered. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
Lunseth Plumbing and Heating is now hiring apprentice plumbers, journeyman plumbers, HVAC service techs, and plumbing service techs. Apply online at lunseth.com or stop by their booth at the Hired Job Fair on Tuesday. Diesel techs come wrench with the best and earn up to a $5,000 hiring bonus. Boss Truck Shops is now hiring diesel mechanics and a service writer. For more information or to apply, go to bosstruckshops.com or stop by their booth at the Hired Job Fair on Tuesday.
And it's booked. Wait, what if my flight gets canceled or the room is terrible? Ugh, what am I doing? Travel always has specials on dream trips. They do corporate travel, honeymoons, everything. I'm booking with Travel just to be safe. This week's Travel hot deal of the week is Punta Cana. Fly from Minneapolis to Punta Cana and stay 7 nights all-inclusive at the Riu Republica. Adults only, December 19th through the 26th for $13.59 per person. Call Travel at 492-5000 or online at travelgroup.com.
When it's time to find a realtor, word of mouth is important, and Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty is a name Bison Nation says often. Todd has helped everyone from coaches and administrators to broadcasters and former players and their families buy homes in the FM area. So many in Bison Nation trust Todd to buy and sell their homes, and you can too. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him in person at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Hi, this is Chris with Express Employment Professionals. The annual sugar beet harvest is here, and we are now in the process of hiring over 1,300 people. And you could harvest yourself up to $3,200 in just 2 short weeks. Positions are filling fast, so pile on and call today, 888-791-6738. Express Employment Professionals. The annual sugar beet harvest is here, and we are now in the process of hiring over 1,300 people. And you could harvest yourself up to $3,200 in just 2 short weeks. Positions are filling fast, so pile on and call today, 888-791-6738.
We all want to be part of a winning team, right? Hi, this is Marcus with Steamatic, and I am very proud of our team. Industry experts have voted Steamatic the best method of cleaning with our patented steam cleaning process, our 24-hour service, and highly trained technicians. We do it all from carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, fire and water damage restoration, and remember, Bison fanatics choose Steamatic.
Steamatic, call 232-4707.
The construction is almost done at the Gateway Clearance Center, and the construction sale is going strong. No negotiations necessary, and payments starting as low as $99 a month. That's right, payments starting at just $99 a month at the Gateway Clearance Center, with a great selection of clean used cars, trucks, and SUVs. And right now, every vehicle is sale priced. Enjoy extra discounts for the construction sale going on now at Gateway Clearance Center on South University Drive in Fargo, or online at fmclearancecenter.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The Carolina Panthers have just officially named Baker Mayfield their starting quarterback. The Panthers will open the regular season hosting Mayfield's former team, the Cleveland Browns. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady returned to the team today after being away since August the 11th due to personal reasons. The Buccaneers will begin practice today at 12:45 Eastern. Fox Sports' Jay Glazer reports that Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was offered a contract in excess of the 5-year, $230 million deal that Arizona's Kyler Murray recently received. But the Jackson is seeking a fully guaranteed contract similar to what the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson. Also today, the Las Vegas Raiders traded quarterback Nick Mullins to the Minnesota Vikings for a conditional 7th-round draft pick in 2024. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders.
Insiders.
The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
Welcome on in to another week. We are 1 week closer, and every day is another day closer to NDSU football. Back in here with you. Happy to be back from the weekend. A little rested, a little recharged. And ready for another great 5 days. Another fun 2 hours today on the show. Bringing you the latest in sports and catching you up with all things NDSU. Andy Rickoff in with you inside our Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Micah Bindi running things as usual behind the board. Doing a great job setting up our stream on Facebook. You can watch the show live there on Facebook. Bison 1660 there. And you can watch us on our Horse Cam. Appreciate everybody watching out there. And if you're watching, in just a little bit, you'll find out that Kyle Emanuel is not here with us today. He is in Hawaii. He is on the honeymoon and probably enjoying life. We're in one of the 7 or 8 swimsuits he packed, I'm sure, because he's an overpacker. So instead, sitting across from me at our big kids table, someone that looks just like him, just like Kyle Emanuel, is Ross Uglum. Nice enough to give us some time today and help us run the show. How you doing, Ross?
Yeah, I am not Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
You look just like him.
I'm spectacular. I can grow a better beard than he can.
That's true.
Other than that, yeah, you're right. Everything's about the exact same.
6'3",
235, cut up.
Yep.
It's all
Bank
the
account,
same.
Everything's
all
the same. All the same. No
all
doubt
the
about
same.
it.
All the same.
Time spent in California. Yeah. Very similar. But thanks for joining us, and thanks for being part of the show. Looking forward to it. Ross will be kind of co-hosting with us today. We'll have different array of co-hosts throughout the week. I think Cole Jurek will stop by. Rob Hipp will stop by a little bit. We'll have some fun the next couple of days here on the week until Kyle comes back and rejoins us next week after said honeymoon. But because Ross is with us today, we'll have a whole bunch of fun breaking down Christian Watson, I think. The Packers, because you cover the Packers a bit with Packer Report.
Yeah.
So Christian Watson is off of the PUP list. He is practicing.
Off the PUP and actually just got promoted to team drills.
Okay.
So some of the,
there we go.
Green Bay had a rough, and Christian's not a part of this, but Green Bay had a rough end of the season. All-pro lineman Elton Jenkins blew out his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Tight end, not all-pro, but just tight end Robert Tunyon blew out his knee in Arizona, and kick returner / third down back Kylan Hill blew out his knee in the same game in Arizona. They've all been basically on very similar timelines because I don't think that Minnesota game where Elton blew out his knee was all that different.
Mm-hmm.
So they've all been kind of working off to the side. And then Christian took the sleeve off his leg and started working out with them on the side. And now he's been, quote-unquote, promoted to 11-on-11. So people are allowed to hit him now.
There you go.
And,
which is good, but also bad.
Well, yeah, right. But I mean, you want, for a guy like him, and everybody's talking about the jump in competition, that an FCS player needs to, the speed of the game, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. He needs live reps.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically with the landmark system like with Rodgers, like you can't run the wrong route or drop the ball or make a mental error because he'll just banish you to the end of the bench.
You're in forever timeout.
Right, exactly. So these live reps are very important. And I think, I'm hopeful for 10 to 15 snaps on Thursday in Kansas City. You could actually see him live and in living color in that other shade of green and gold. I think it's in the realm. It could happen.
That was kind of the question for you. Obviously he practiced a little bit last week, didn't play though in the preseason, but yeah, one more preseason game. I would have to think that coaches want to get a look at him, see how he's retaining information, see how he looks on the field to see what he can do potentially early on in the season because they're going to need wide receivers.
Like the 33rd overall pick. Like you're
going to want to use them at some point.
You're going to want to use them at some point.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So we'll dive into that stuff. We'll dive into expectations for Christian Watson and what he's looking out there. I know the Packers, is it Romeo Doubs?
Romeo Doubs.
Yep. Yeah. Another receiver they drafted that they are very high on. Some other things going on there. So get an update on Christian, probably all the pro buys, and we'll go over that a little bit later on. Obviously, Trey Lance. If you didn't see, I posted a little video. He was in Minneapolis taking on the Vikings. Didn't play in that game, but was nice enough to give us a few minutes of time there afterwards. And seems like he's doing pretty good, just fine, and getting ready to be a starting quarterback in the NFL, which is crazy to say still.
Diced up those Packers.
Yeah, did pretty well.
On like 6 throws.
On the little speedster, Danny Gray.
Danny Gray out of SMU. He's a vertical guy. Yeah. I like watching him play, but yeah.
I believe Trey said post-game, that's the fastest receiver I've thrown to since someone named Christian Watson.
Yeah, I believe it.
And then he quickly walked that back and said, we also have very fast guys on this team. Quickly learning, like, you got to protect your guys now. It's not all about NDSU stuff. But Trey's doing great, and a whole bunch of pro Bison. I believe the number was like 13 or 14 that are on rosters currently.
Yeah, I mean,
wait for the cut downs here.
I think if you count Jabril, it's 16.
16 now?
I think if you count Jabril, which
I do.
You should. You should.
He was here for the majority of his career. Vast majority.
I think Wes Offerman tweeted, like, Jabril spent 4 years at NDSU and 7 months at LSU. Yeah. Where did he really go to school?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
like it's like the guy that spends 11 years somewhere in the NFL, goes somewhere else for the final year, and gets in the Hall of Fame. Well, what's the bust going to say?
Yeah,
it's going to say Brett Favre is a Hall of Famer. Is he because of the Vikings or the Packers?
Right, or the Jets?
Or the Jets. The Jets. Which I think everybody, including Brett Favre, would like to forget.
Absolutely.
Speaking of Brett Favre and quarterbacks from Southern Miss, Micah Bindi, do you have the breaking news sounder back there? Quarterbacks from Southern Miss. The last time the Vikings acquired a quarterback from Southern Miss in the month of August, they went to the NFC Championship game when they coaxed Brett Favre out of retirement, brought the Jet with Brad Childress. But they've done it again. They made a trade. They have traded a conditional 7th-round pick for Nick Mullins, the former Southern Miss quarterback, who's probably going to be the backup because Kellen Mond looked awful in preseason game number 2, and Sean Mannion did score the touchdown, did drive him down for 1 score, but he couldn't move the ball either. He was pretty bad. So after the game, I know Kevin O'Connell was asked, like, could you look outside the organization? He was very vague, not very much of a committal to anything, so I don't think it's a surprise that you saw today, an hour or so ago, that the Vikings traded for Nick Mullins, who will most likely be the backup quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Are you somehow going to twist this into like a positive Vikings fandom thing that Nick Mullins is going to be the savior of the season if Kirk has to be out for COVID?
Darn
injury?
right. Like I said, the last time the Vikings got a quarterback from Southern Miss in August, NFC Championship game. Correlation's already there.
History's going to repeat itself?
Darn right. History always repeats itself. So looking forward to that. Kellen Mond, everyone wanted to make fun of or be mad at Mike Zimmer because Mike Zimmer at the end of the season said we weren't going to play. He was asked, like, why didn't you play Mond in a game that basically didn't matter? And Mike Zimmer, very grumpy, said, we've seen him in practice. We don't need to. And everyone blew it up like, oh, how could you say that? How could you be so disrespectful? The new regime just brought in his replacement and is probably going to cut him. So let's calm down on the Mike Zimmer hatred for that stuff a little bit. He's probably right. And it was a bad pick. You move on. You have bad picks all the time. That's a higher pick than you would like to be a bad pick, being a 3rd rounder. But
those guys don't work there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
It's part of it, I think, and that might be part of it.
Happens all over the place.
Yeah.
Like what happened in Chicago. They got rid of basically their whole roster with a new GM and new coach. Same thing here there in Minneapolis, I should say, and they're cleaning house and making the decisions they want to. I don't think that'll be the only one. I think there's a chance there's some other names that don't make that roster that fans are like, he's made the roster quite a bit the last few years. I wonder why he's not there. Well, there's a new regime in house. So what have you done for me lately? They don't have the same thing with Sean Mannion. Like we're all talking about Kellen Mond, but if it was Zimmer and Spielman, I bet you Mannion's still the backup because they valued his intellect in the room for some reason more than anything else. You don't really need to do that when your head coach is a former quarterback and you've got other people that can fill that
experience.
Role. Exactly. Veteran experience, but not talent. Didn't have much of that when he was ever on the field. Thankfully, Kirk Cousins hasn't been hurt. The only time he's missed a game was because of COVID. Yeah. So that's the one thing you can say about Kirk. At least he's been durable, and I'll knock on some wood later after saying that. But yeah, that's the news for the Minnesota Vikings today, as they have made a trade for one Nick Mullins. You got something else, Micah?
Now there's more breaking news for quarterbacks. We heard in the Fox Sports Trending, but Baker Mayfield now the starting quarterback of the Carolina Panthers.
Does that surprise anybody?
No.
I think I don't know how much like upside there is with Baker, but I think we've seen what we've seen from Darnold, exactly. and so you try and squeeze whatever you can out of Baker, and if that doesn't work, they took Matt Corral. He got hurt, which is real sad.
Yeah, Liz Frank injury.
Yeah, those are painful.
Travis Etienne last year.
Yeah, they're
the whole year.
They're painful and they take a long time to heal. But that place is a mess. And shout out to our Carolinian friends Beth Hool and Trevor Gebhardt.
Yeah,
they get the Baker Mayfield experience this year.
At the very least, they're probably banking on Baker's got a chip on his shoulder. He's the chip on the shoulder guy after being traded and trying to prove himself. Plus, week ones against Cleveland, his old team, which just works out perfectly. So I'm not surprised he won that job. People said it was going to be difficult for him to learn the playbook quickly. I'm like, he's got a month. He'll be fine. He'll learn it well enough, and he should beat out Sam Darnold, and it appears he has. Now the question is, what do you do with Sam Darnold? Do you just cut him? Do you move off of him? Does somebody trade for a Sam Darnold? Does Cleveland trade? That'd be fun. Cleveland trade for Sam Darnold, and then maybe they play against each other.
I wonder, too, you wonder where Seattle is at.
Yeah.
Sam
Darnold, Drew Lock, and Geno Smith.
It's
battle it out.
It's all a bunch of yuck. it's all a bunch of yuck. I think, I think Seattle really wants to bottom out and have an opportunity at Stroud or Bryce Young or whatever young quarterback they like and kind of reset.
Yeah, I think there's a couple other teams like that too. The Giants are one of them.
Reset with their 72-year-old head coach. Nothing like rebuilding around a 72-year-old.
He acts like
head coach.
52.
I know.
Okay, 72 is the new 52 for Pete
sure.
Carroll, no doubt about it. But yeah, I'm a little surprised he's going the whole rebuild route as well. They're out in Seattle. So Ross Uglin with us. We'll touch on that kind of stuff later on. We do have a couple more interviews from NDSU Media Day. Believe it, we still have more. There's actually more in the vault from NDSU Media Day, which was a couple of weeks ago at this point. But Rob Hipp, who you'll hear on the show later on this week quite a bit.
Finally met Rob Hipp. It was about an 8-second conversation and a handshake, but
Did you
met
say
Rob
y'all?
Hipp. I did not get a y'all.
Okay.
I mean, I was alone, so it would have been.
We have an office pool when he says "ope" or "you betcha."
Yeah.
We like the first big Midwesterner kind of phrase comes out of him.
Or it says like, "Excuse me for nothing he did wrong."
Exactly.
That would be a good one.
Passive aggressiveness or something. Once the Midwestern accent starts to take hold. But he caught up with a few players at NDSU Media Day. We'll play those conversations for you. How about Cole Payton? Talk a lot about Cam Miller, Cole Payton. That conversation's always a good one. And so I'll catch up there with Rob Hipp and Cole Payton. Also Mason Miller. I'll play those conversations for you. And a couple of more as well from Rob Hipp out at NDSU
Youth
Media.
movement today.
Yeah, a little bit of a youth movement. Going younger out on this one. So that stuff will be coming up for you mostly in the second hour. I'll also play one of them. Probably play the Cole Payton one for you, actually, at about 11:30 here on the program. As always, the show brought to you by Proseed. If you need seed, think Proseed online at proseed.net. But top of the show here, about 11:13. We've kind of rambled on enough here at this point. Got some news to share. You guys have been pumping it up there on Twitter as well. We've started to a little bit, but we've got a little bit of news to share with our football coverage. You know, we take pride in this. We take pride in everything we do on Saturdays, not only having all of the games here for you on not just Bison 1660, but the ever-expanding Pioneer Seeds Bison Radio Network, our friends over there at Learfield and with North Dakota State University, but all of our pre- and post-game coverage. Bison Hotline after the games, including after the Arizona game this year, which will be about 1:30 in the morning locally, and then all of our pre-game coverage. Bison Game Day, Bison Tailgate Show. We've had the weekend kickoff, which has been a fun addition to that, but now this year, instead of the weekend kickoff, a couple hours before the game kicks off, we'll start our pregame coverage with this guy, with Ross. Ross will be doing the Bison Report show with us here on Bison 1660 and making sure we get all the latest on everything NDSU. Nice to have you aboard, sir. Congratulations, and fun to have you.
I'm excited about it. I could never, because people don't know this, but when I walk up the stairs for the games, you'd usually already be there. And I'd always say, are you Andy Rickoff of the morning kickoff? I'm not going to get a show name that has that ring to it. I mean, it's an all-timer. Your last name rhyming with kickoff was a true blessing.
I'm not a huge fan of my last name overall because it's difficult to spell and it's been mispronounced thousands of times. But it does rhime with kickoff.
It does rhyme with
works.
kickoff. There's no two ways about it. But we will not have something that rhymes quite in that way. We went old school. We're going to call it the Bison Report Show. But I'm just thrilled, man. I'm so thankful to you and to Nancy for this opportunity. I mentioned in our post that just went up right now on Twitter, like many of my fondest memories of doing Bison Report have been with you guys. I can't remember the name of the bar, but the place in Minneapolis before the Target Field game.
Yep,
those live shows, super fun. Obviously, all of our times down at Twin Peaks in Frisco, for like the last 3-4 years,
and there's a time or two,
have been super fun. You guys even were gracious enough to let me come on the air in 2019 when I took over Bison Report and announced that it was my website moving forward. And so I've just enjoyed all my time here. Obviously, with you, Andy, with the no longer with us, Jeff. They are alive. They are alive.
Oh, baby!
They are alive. But Jeff Collane and Keith Brake
in a much warmer place.
Yes, absolutely. Gators and snakes, though. I mean, I can't wait. We talk about him being still alive. I'm just waiting for that bad news. That he got eaten by something.
I think it's the sun's going to get him.
You think the sun's going to get him? Fair enough.
Very fair-skinned individual.
But yeah, obviously, just thrilled. We'll be taking 6 hours prior to 4 hours prior.
Yep.
So get that coffee brewed up. Get those. Can I say Sandy's Donuts? Am I allowed to say Sandy's Donuts?
Yeah, you can say donuts.
Just donuts?
Sandy's Donuts. I don't care. I just said it.
Sorry.
Pancakes. I always had a rejoin. It was like, get your coffee now, flip the pancakes, grill some bacon or whatever, and then join us on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, get kick off your game day with us, and that's really, I think, what the coolest part about it is for me. I'm excited to be on your air. I'm excited for what it could mean for Bison Report. I'm excited about a lot of things, but just the idea of how deeply woven into the fabric of Fargo and how deeply woven into the fabric of our state Bison game days are. And so for us and for me to kick that off for everyone, even though it might be at 8:30 in the morning or sometimes even earlier.
There'll be some early ones there.
I know. That 11 a.m. kick, that 11 a.m. kick for ESPN for the playoff game.
Yep.
That one's. I'm already dreaming about that 3:50 a.m. wake up call.
Some people don't like the Fridays, but like the semifinals, we get the Friday one. I'm fine with that.
Sure.
I was always okay with
that. Oh, yeah. So, but yeah, just the concept of like, all right, guys, it's Bison game day, and we're going to kick it off for you. That is very, very exciting for me. And like I said, just appreciative for the opportunity.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you, and thanks for joining up with us and doing that show. And I know in the past when it's the weekend kickoff, it's just kind of been a sports show. It wasn't necessarily the lead-in for our game day coverage, because if it was a later game, the weekend kickoff was, at the latest, it was always going to be 9 to 11. It was always 9 to 11. If it had to go earlier, it went earlier, and we just kind of made it a sports talk show. It wasn't just NDSU football, although we talked a bunch of NDSU football, obviously. Well, the Bison Report show with Ross will be following our game day coverage. So when it's a later kick, the show will be later as well. It will link right into the Bison Tailgate show with Brad Jones, who's doing that again this year. Can't wait to have Brad back on the air and get his take on things across the FCS. But Ross will have freedom to kind of talk about what he wants. Obviously, there'll be a lot of NDSU football talk. The show will be running throughout the entire football season. Brought to you by the great folks there at Gateway Chevrolet. John Cole and his team are phenomenal out there, and we appreciate them linking up with us again on the show. But we take pride in our coverage and doing the best stuff. I don't know if there's anybody in the FCS. I maybe can do some digging. I doubt there is. And there's a lot of people at the FBS level where you got 1 hour of network pregame, 2 hours with me and now James Hendricks this year. We've got one more hour with Brad and now 2 here with you, Ross, where you got 6 hours of pregame coverage on a game day. That doesn't happen across the country very many places, so we take a lot of pride in that and want to make sure we got someone that was plugged into the university, plugged into the programs a little bit, at least knows their stuff. And I felt like you definitely know your stuff at least a little bit. I don't know my stuff much either, so it kind of fits pretty well. So I have you doing that show. We're really looking forward to it and happy to see what you do with it, which will be fun. Might even be a show or two where I pop on and I'm helping you out. So.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a chance of that. So
can I keep Micah the intern?
You can. That's up to Micah. You want it?
He's the host.
Okay. I guess he should. I always say you back there have the power. People think me that has the power.
You got the buttons. He's got the buttons. We could be off the air immediately.
Exactly. Yeah. You got the power back there as the producer, so you can kind of do with it what you will. Now you can only really do that for one show, because then at that point when the show's done, then I have the power again. But for at least a couple hours, you really do have the power back there.
Well, thankfully I do, because hey, I don't have the power too often, but it's nice to feel powerful occasionally.
Yeah, occasionally. Just a little bit. Just a little power hungry. So that's the big news at the top of the show. Bison Report show 6 to 4 hours before kickoff every single Saturday or Friday in those semifinals if they move. If you have that one, hopefully NDSU is there. Cross your fingers, whatever you want to do. Right. But that's the big news.
I'm sure the coaching staff loves us talking about playoff games, deep playoff games, like they're already on the schedule.
Yeah, we already booked our tickets to Frisco. We're going to be there. If you're not, we're upset. No, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so happy to have you. That's the big news. If anybody wants to chime in and ask us questions about the show, feel free to. You can text us 701-476-1660. You can call us there as well, the Epic Companies hotline, or you can email the show. The Rick Electric email inbox is open for you. That's studio@bison1660.com. Let's take our first break here on the show now that we have that news out of the way at the very top. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll go over some of the latest stuff from fall camp here with Andy and Ross here on The Insiders.
Champions play here.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball.
You're home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
Proceed's company core values, in my eyes, are trust, integrity, and fulfilling the promise. Proceed's been in business for 30 years for a reason. They keep things simple, they watch what their farmer needs, and they take care of it. We promise what we deliver. Proceed has had some of the same customers for the past 30 years as they started with. With that comes the integrity that we live by at Proceed. We want to be that trusted advisor with them, their farm, their family.
Hi, this is Chris with Express Employment Professionals. The annual sugar beet harvest is here, and we are now in the process of hiring over 1,300 people. And you could harvest yourself up to $3,200 in just 2 short weeks. Positions are filling fast, so pile on and call today, 888-791-6738. Express Employment Professionals. The annual sugar beet harvest is here, and we are now in the process of hiring over 1,300 people. And you could harvest yourself up to $3,200 in just 2 short weeks. Positions are filling fast, so pile on and call today, 888-791-6738.
You work hard to make your house a home, and at Onyx Exteriors, we strive to make the outside of your home as warm and inviting as the inside. I'm Blake.
And I'm Ray, owners of Onyx Exteriors. We install the industry's top brands in seamless steel, wood, vinyl, specialty products, as well as gutters, windows, and doors.
And all at a great price. We personally work with you from the estimate to the installation to guarantee your satisfaction.
So whether it's a remodel or new construction, schedule a free estimate online at onyxnd.com.
What's cooler than heating your water with an electric water heater?
Let me think about that.
Saving money at the same time.
Yeah, that is cool.
With an electric water heater, you can cut your electricity rates in half with off-peak heating. It's efficient, too. And you can get up to $700 just for installing one.
I like what I'm hearing.
It's the smart and cool way to heat your water. Visit CassCountyElectric.com to learn more about saving with an electric water heater.
Living at the Bridges has been a great experience for me, and I'm inviting you to come check it out too. Hey, it's Phoenix Rolls. The Bridges has all-inclusive pricing. That means internet, cable, electric, water, everything is included in your 1 monthly payment. And it's right across from NDSU, so I can walk to practice and workouts. The amenities are insane. A fitness center, outdoor courtyard with fireplaces and grills, cyber cafe, and an automated convenience store. Tour today to find out more or go online at bridgesnd.com.
I'm Emily. I had my LASIK surgery here at Vance Thompson Vision. Being in the healthcare field, the highest technology is huge for patients. For me, that was the leading choice and why I chose to go with Vance Thompson Vision. Life without glasses in the operating room has been incredible for me. There's no more fogging. There's no more having issues with my glasses sliding down on my face. It's been great for me.
Call 877-522-EYES to schedule a free consultation.
Take us with you wherever you go with the Bison 1660 app, powered by Thunder Seed, first in the field. Now, back to the Insiders.
Welcome back in to the Insiders today, here with you on Bison 1660. We're here inside our wonderful Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol is one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities, a 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant located just west of Castleton. Fuel your future by joining the growing team today. View open positions online at theraldsonethanol.com. Andy and Ross Uglum in here with you, along with Micah Bindi, who's done some work with Ross in the past, so it's just kind of like continuing the full circle of everything here.
Can I get a breaking news sounder?
Micah, do you have a breaking news sounder? Yeah. What do you got?
So this isn't actually from 24/7 Sports, but I'm reading the tweet from 24/7 Sports.
Okay.
Oregon initiated preliminary discussions with the Big Ten to determine if the Ducks are compatible in the league.
They're gone.
Goodbye. And also rest in peace the Pac-12. I think the Pac-12 was already resting in peace after USC and UCLA. You lose Oregon, that you have no brand left.
No, and then everyone else is going to.
Big 12.
It sounds good okay, we're going to stick together to one person. If one person leaves, then everyone's like, okay, I can't trust any of you now. So basically the whole thing's going to unravel would be my guess.
It's like the horror movie where who's the killer? Everybody's looking around the room like, who has the knife? Who is going to stab us in the back? Turns out it might be Oregon.
It might be Oregon. So there's some news on that front. We know the Big Ten had a new media rights deal with $7 billion. I was about to say million because that makes sense in my mind, but it's a lot more than that. With a B. $7
it needs to not make sense in your mind.
Dollars for 7 years. By the way, I believe the Big Ten comes up again for media rights before like the other conferences come up. So they're going to get another bite of this apple before anybody else will, which is another aspect of Kevin Warren, the commissioner, doing a great job there with the Big Ten. But he said in different interviews and things, actually one with, I forget what the company is, but it will air tomorrow with Gumbel. And he's basically, some of the excerpts have come out already where he said, yeah, we're going to keep looking to add, and there's some possibilities down the line of adding some teams. Sounded very open to that. And we all kind of thought Oregon and Notre Dame made a lot of sense. Well, it sounds like Oregon possibly is already going to be on the move there. If we hear anything more about that here very shortly, we'll try and relay that information to you. But I want to take a second here to talk about some fall camp and what's going on with NDSU. And obviously we'll have those conversations Rob Hipp has had coming up here in just a little bit. Cole Payton will be the first one just after 11:30. What have you made so far of fall camp? I know you've been out there a little bit. We know there's some battles. Coach Entz has been on with us and said, hey, nothing's really settled yet at those linebacker positions. They're still working some things out. Said even the possibility of the Sam linebacker spot being kind of, positioned by committee early on for a week or two until maybe they figure out exactly who's best in a game situation.
Yeah, that Sam spot's interesting. For the folks that are listening that don't necessarily know what that means, it's the Cox brothers position. Really originally, I think, kind of developed as almost a slot corner position by Travis Beck and his athleticism and his ability to really operate in space for NDSU, honestly, to run what equates to a 4-2 for about the last decade. I know it's technically called a 4-3, but like that other linebacker, unless you're in a tight formation, is out there with the slot receiver. And you've seen Travis, ridiculous athlete, both Cox brothers, insane, like carrying slot receivers on a vertical, and that's a tough ask. And I'm interested to see, because I think a lot of folks believe that the best 11, Matt talks about that constantly, get our best 11 out there, best 11. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to explain to me how the best 11 doesn't have Dom Jones, Michael Tutsi, and Dawson Weber in it. So which of those three safeties might fill in a little bit at Sam? I think it'd probably be Michael because he's the best.
He's done it already a little
bit. Right. So you could maybe see, what we would think of as a nickel, but is basically their base set with Tutsi at backer a little bit. But don't count out Oscar Benson. Don't count out Julian Wadarsik. Don't count out those guys that have been fighting for that spot. And it's an important spot, man. If you get somebody that can tackle as well as a Cox brother that can blitz, maybe not in the way that they're maybe not that dynamic, but what has allowed NDSU to be so excellent defensively, it's not one thing, but it's a huge part of, that's fine. You can come out in 11 purse. You can come out with 3 wides, 4 wides. If it's an early down, we're probably just going to stick with our base defense. And having a linebacker that can basically play slot corner is kind of the key to not having to constantly sub, because a lot of teams will either play 5 true defensive backs or, oh God, they have 4 receivers. Pull a defensive end or pull a linebacker. We need to get our nickel out there right now. NDSU for the last 10 years has been like, we're cool. Just here, I'll handle that. Jabril's got that under control. It's fine.
Well, you hear wanting to be multiple. Mostly on offense. We want to be multiple. We want to have guys that can do multiple things. Well, if you got that on defense, you don't have to sub as often.
Right.
If a team goes hurry up, you're not in a bad situation where you're caught with a bunch of big slow guys, and now they're going to spread you out. Now you're in a bad situation. And it's the same thing with the run game. A lot of people say, well, now you're too small. Well, those guys are physical enough; they can handle the run. And you got a great defensive line that can handle the run in a hurry up situation as well. I agree with you. Having Dom Jones on the field feels like it's part of your best 11. And the cool thing is, I would think it'd be Michael Tutts that comes down more in the box. But if it's Dom and you're talking about coverage stuff, the dude led the team in interceptions in that spring season. Like, he can obviously cover and he can make plays. He's a
His
playmaker.
range
The ball
is unbelievable.
Yeah. He's great. So you do that.
That spring one that he made against UND, where he starts to where he finishes, is wild. I mean, you talk about being able to play a football in the air. Dom Jones is a special athlete.
Yeah, so I think you're going to see some of that a little bit. There's a chance, I think, as well, that Julian Wlodarczyk gets a lot of snaps on there, former safety, now kind of switching into that linebacker role, that hybrid player, and he's 6'3".
Yeah.
He's got some size to him as well. It's we're shifting to like the smaller linebackers. Not that 6'3" is a massive human being, but it's pretty good size for the modern day linebacker. No doubt about it.
I mean, you think about like Jackson Hankey was 6'1", 215. They've had James Kaiser is basically strong safety sized.
Right.
They haven't had a big guy out there basically since Jabril. And even Wlodarczyk is weight-wise kind of in a strong safety mold, but that
like
length,
215.
Right, that length and that size, there just aren't a whole lot of humans at 6'3", 235 that move like Jabril.
And then you've got Oscar Benson, the Hillsborough product, 6'1", 215, other guy that Coach Entz has talked a ton about. David Braun's talked a ton about. They love him. They love what he's done. Still just a sophomore, so you're thinking, I don't know if that's sophomore eligibility-wise, COVID. We all know that whole deal.
Well, I think he was part of the COVID class.
Exactly.
Yep.
So
and so he's in his third year on campus.
Yeah, regardless, he's still fairly young and still got plenty of years left. And that's a player that, I don't know if the light bulb has completely come on, but it seemed to come on with the amount that the coaches are talking about him. So there will be probably a little bit of rotation there at that Sam spot.
Yep.
You got to throw in as well that you've got James Kaiser, but Cole Wisniewski, when he's healthy, completely healthy, he's also got to be in that rotation a little bit.
I'm going to do a tiny little content plug for Bison Report. Tomorrow we will start our positional preview series, and one of those things is going to be biggest question. That's my biggest question for the linebacker.
What's his role?
Yeah. Where you can't not play Wiz. You can't. In my opinion, you just can't. So what are you going to do? Are you going to play him detached? Okay, fine. I think another guy that kind of came in safety sized, always was, okay, you're a tall safety. You're never going to play safety here. We're going to put weight on you and make you a linebacker. That was always the plan with him. They told us that on signing day.
And the plans worked to perfection.
But he still got kind of that safety movement skill. So do you play him at Sam, and do you tell all those kids that competed their butts off all fall camp for the Sam spot, like, sorry, Or same thing at Mike. He could play Mike, but do you have Luke Wirtz and Nick Kubitz go to war for 6 weeks and then, oh, sorry, buddy, Wiz is here. You're not going to sit James Kaiser. To me, it is fascinating what they're going to end up doing.
Just put more weight on him. Make him a defensive end.
Dude,
right?
You're kind of joking.
Yep.
I like him in space too much to do that constantly, but I loved when they blitzed Jabril Cox. And I'm not saying Wiz is Jabril athletically, but like you can see the flexibility, you can see the length. I think Wiz would be an absolutely terrifying blitzer. And against elite mobile quarterbacks, I think he'd be a really fun spy guy. Like if you remember the way Jabril Cox just tormented Brian Shore in the FCS championship game as a spy, I think you could have Wiz do that as well.
Yeah, then at the very least they've got depth, right? Tons of it, and proven depth. And when you talk about best 11, you feel like Cole Wisniewski is one of the best 11, but also you feel like Dom Jones is. Also feel like the other guys are. You've got 22 best 11s.
Honestly, Andy, it's the biggest thing. I know I've been one to say, like the spring, just forget the spring season of 2020. Forget it happened. So much happened that wouldn't normally happen in that season. I just pretend it didn't happen. Well, what did happen, though, and I think the biggest thing that NDSU got out of that is all those kids are still here. Yes, there was a big exodus of seniors that if we weren't going to play in them, like Aaron Mercadell, program kid, awesome kid, but he was just like, yeah, I'm done. I think a number of guys made that decision. Dylan decided to go in the draft. Trey decided to go in the draft. Jabril decided to play for LSU, et cetera, et cetera. That happened, forcing a ton of young guys into action. And all those guys are still here. So all of those guys that got live reps in playoff situations, by the way, not normal NDSU playoff situations while you're up by 21, playoff situations where you desperately need to make a play or the season's over. And so all of those guys are now that year into it, last year into it, and now the word you used, which is the way I would describe this team, from the wide receiver room to, oh my God, the running back room, to the offensive line room, even to the QBs, and all, they're deep. They are so deep. Is Trey Lance on this roster? I don't know. Is Dylan Radins on this roster? Maybe Cody, but I don't know. Do they have a Jabril on defense? I don't know. But they might have like 6 Christian Dudzik. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an All-American, maybe not an NFL guy, but like All-American. Like
guys you can trust.
Absolutely, man.
Coaching staff can
They
trust.
are so deep because these kids, when they were 18 and 19, had to play real football that matters. Now they're 20, 21. They've had Kramer building them up. Like, these guys are deep. You're going to see waves of skill position guys and waves of defenders. And I think they're going to be ridiculously nasty on special teams. Because all those guys that lose those battles and end up number 2 and number 3 on the offensive and defensive depth chart, we'll just go take out that frustration on special teams because
and they will.
We're those guys now.
Yeah, exactly. It's a super deep team. It's as deep as maybe, especially at some positions. You mentioned running back, I think receiver, safety, maybe as deep as those positions have ever been at this program, and they've been deep before. So, it's a lot of depth going on right now, mainly because of that spring season and all the experience, the live reps, the actual game reps a lot of those players got. So still looking at that linebacker spot. That's kind of the big one. Also, receiver, we kind of know who I think is going to be some of the starters there, but it's what role do other guys play?
Yeah.
You don't really go 4 wide very often at NDSU, but when you do, who are the guys that could be out there? Who are your big red zone threats? What do you do there? Who can maybe provide that speed element too in the wide receiver group? They got plenty of options. We'll take a break, then we'll come back. We'll touch on the offense a little bit. Rob Hipp's conversation with one of those backups, the backup quarterback, Cole Payton. We'll play that conversation for you when we come back here on The Insiders.
The most complete Bison coverage in the region. Your Bison Nation station.
You are deep in thought, which is always dangerous.
Bison 1660.
Talking about your farm finances shouldn't be intimidating. This is Scott Zlondik with Cornerstone Bank. We're a locally owned and managed community bank. We know the ins and outs of ag banking, and more importantly, we know what it means to be there for our customers. Find the right person to talk to you about your finances, someone you feel comfortable with, someone you trust for the advice and direction you need. Come to Cornerstone Bank.
Cornerstone Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When is the last time you went to the dentist? Has it been more than 6 months? Then it's time to make an appointment. My friends at About Smiles Dental are accepting new patients. Not only for you, but your entire family. Our family loves the team at About Smiles. And let's be honest, there's no better feeling than a clean and healthy smile. At About Smiles, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. It's easy to skip appointments, but the dentist isn't one you should put off. Make sure you're keeping up with your oral hygiene. Schedule your appointments now at About Smiles Dental.
No matter where you work, whether it's at your kitchen table or in the office, you need to collaborate with your team. ProConnect from Consolidated Communications makes it happen. You'll never miss a call when you can answer from your desk phone, laptop, or cell phone. And you can communicate instantly using real-time messaging. Confidently connect with customers over secure video conferencing and work together to create and share documents. Get ready to connect, collaborate, and communicate brilliantly. Choose ProConnect, your team collaboration tool from Consolidated Communications.
My DQ's on 52nd Avenue and in Dilworth.
Try the Blizzard of the Month, Reese's Take 5. Made with Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, pretzel bites, peanuts, and caramel topping. While you're there, pick up a box of Dilly Bars for the office and make everyone's day. Shake up your lunch routine with the A1 Signature Stack Burger with thick and hearty A1 steak sauce, creamy peppercorn sauce, and crunchy onion rings right on the burger. Visit My DQ on 52nd Avenue and now in Dilworth with the same great owners of both locations.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Great day to start the week with mostly sunny skies and a high in the mid-80s tonight, though we will cool down into the low 60s and a few more clouds, even a 20% chance of some showers. Tomorrow looking pretty good as well with mostly sunny skies and a high right around 80. This weather update brought to you by Brady Service Center in Moorhead. Brady Service Center is your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs, and with donuts, breakfast, and lunch items daily, they're also your one-stop shop for all your road trip needs.
You saw people you haven't seen in a while.
You went places you haven't been in a while.
And you accumulated new and different junk.
You came home and you said,
"Where are we going to put all this?"
Relax. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
No lifting.
No carrying.
No banging and bumping into walls.
Just a beautiful wide open space full of happiness and sunlight.
You'll have room to roam.
To breathe again.
You've never felt so free.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
The place you go for all your Bison news first. You've got the insiders right here on Bison 1660.
11:41 on the program. Back in with you on the Insiders here on Bison 1660. Brought to you as always by Proceed, home of the right choice and right stuff programs, online at proceed.net. And this hour of the Insiders brought to you by the great team at Rick Electric. When you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Greg Rick and his team are phenomenal. Trust them with your electrical needs. Oh, well, earlier on, a couple of weeks ago, we had NDSU Media Day. We still have stuff left over from that, from the voice of the Bison, Rob Hipp, who caught up with backup quarterback Cole Payton. Here's that conversation now.
Hey, Bison Nation, Rob Hipp here, now joined by freshman quarterback Cole Payton. Cole, talked a lot about you today throughout the press conference. There's been some questions. Got to ask you, man, heading into this season, you had some limited playing time last year as a red shirt, and you're starting to really understand and get yourself ingrained in the program. Just talk a little bit more about this offseason. What have you learned, and what can we expect heading into the season?
I mean, I'm just super grateful to be in the position I'm in. Even though I'm now in my second year, I've still learned so much from Cam and Coach Hedberg and even the other quarterbacks. Like, I'm just super grateful for them. I thought spring ball went well. I'm just so much more confident and comfortable with our offense, and reading the defense and just getting better every day and working hard. So,
as a young guy, there's a lot of talent on this team, of course, so much depth, but you have so many leaders. You just mentioned Cam Miller. You talked about Coach Hedberg. What are some things that those guys have taught you that have really helped you throughout this process?
Literally everything. I mean, when it comes from how to play the game the right way, I mean, like playing quarterback, what it means to be a quarterback on the field and off the field, like leadership, just carrying yourself. Not only is Cam a great quarterback, but he's a good person too, and so he's taught me a lot of things, and I've just been soaking stuff up from him, and so just everything,
Well, you throw on the green and yellow. What does that mean to you, man? There's so much respect, so much success in this program. When you threw that jersey on for the first time, well, you didn't throw it on, you put it on. How did that feel, and what does it mean to you?
It feels super good, to get recruited by them, and I knew I wanted to come here after my junior day when I was in high school. I mean, just the culture and the energy and the fans and the respect we get, and we're not guaranteed anything when we put on the green and gold, but it's just because we work hard, and that's why we have the success we have, so it feels good.
Season right around the corner. What has really excited you the most, especially 3 weeks away? Kind of maybe what's making you anxious, but what's also excited you, man?
I mean, towards the end of the summer, I was just getting pumped for fall camp, just actually playing some more football instead of running and conditioning. But now that we're playing football, and then obviously our first game's right around the corner, so I'm just excited to get out there and compete and be the best teammate I can be.
So much success against FBS teams, defeating the last 6 of them, facing Arizona this year. Just your thoughts on that as a FCS team, so much power behind this team. What are your thoughts talking about FBS opponents?
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game. I know it's a night one, and just getting that opportunity to show that not only are we the best in the FCS, but we can play with the higher group too. So I'm really excited for that game. It's going to be fun.
From Nebraska, man, I got to ask you some fun questions real quick. It's not too far up the road here in North Dakota. What's some differences that you've noticed that maybe you've enjoyed, man?
Ooh.
I'm throwing some hard ones at you.
That I've enjoyed.
Okay, what's some that you haven't enjoyed?
I would just how much, even though I'm only 6 hours away from home, the winters up here are a lot longer. So that's been different. I feel like I got used to it pretty quick, but that wind in the winter, it's hard. It's pretty cold.
The fan base here is so incredible. We talk about Bison Nation. What does that mean to you? And you're out there and you see the thousands and thousands of fans in the dome, on the road, and then also at the tailgate. What is that like for you as a player, seeing that fan base?
It's super humbling. I mean, it's cool that we're playing for something bigger than ourselves, and Bison Nation's a big part of that. I mean, they show out every game, and they're loud, and so it just makes you want to play that much more harder.
Hamburger or hot dog, Cole?
Hamburger.
All right, cool. We had to make sure.
Easy.
Well, one more time, again, appreciate you. It's Cole Payton, freshman quarterback, looking forward to a lot of excitement. You've got a bright future here, young man, and we're proud of you and where you're heading.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
There's that conversation, Rob Hipp and Cole Payton back from NDSU Media Day. And again, he's another one. Like Rob just said, freshman quarterback Cole Payton, but like he's been here for it feels like he's been here for 4 years, it seems like. But it's just the COVID thing is throwing everybody for a loop on when guys are actually ready. Are they redshirt freshmen? Are they sophomores? Are they redshirt sophomores? All that kind of stuff. But one thing we do know, Cole Payton is a big piece of the puzzle and a big piece to the future puzzle of NDSU on the football field. One of my biggest questions for the team is, what is the role for Cole? And that rhymes, and that sounds really, really cool. And I might have to make like a little rejoiner or something, the role for Cole 2022. But Quincy Patterson, obviously not with the team anymore, but he had a role. He had a package that made you very giddy in the press boxes every Saturday. And that worked pretty well. I don't know if Cole Payton is quite that same level of athlete or what. I think he's a very, very good athlete for sure. Maybe he is just as good as Quincy, and I haven't quite gotten a chance to see all of it yet, but I think he can throw the ball better than Quincy could. Is there a role with him? Do they not want to use him because they don't want to get him hurt, and then you don't really have a backup situation that you love? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Yeah, I think he's maybe a little bit faster than Quincy, but maybe not the tackle breaking block of granite that Quincy was. That was maybe the most impressive part, was just how difficult.
He's not quite a defensive end,
right? Like how tough he was to bring down. But yeah, and they've got kind of what they've ended up having these last couple of years, which is the scholarship true freshman quarterback that they've brought in ends up being the emergency QB3 probably. I think they're I don't know, I guess, what their level of comfort would be with Peter Anderson, but I would guess that if it was absolutely a huge problem, they would go to Nathan Hayes, which is ultimately basically what they did with Cam Miller in the spring of 2020. The QB1 went to the draft. QB2 was somewhat ineffective, so QB3 had to be the true freshman. So I don't think they're 6'3", 230. My goodness, he is a defensive end. I don't think they're going to play scared with Cole Payton. I don't know if he gets the entirety of the Quincy reps, but I think he has to be a part of the game plan, especially honestly too. And I think he's never said anything different. I have never heard anything different. But in this day and age of the transfer portal, he needs to be a part of what goes on Saturdays too. I think in the sense of if they just sat him all year, and he's that good, and he is that good,
he'll get in and get the 4. Well, you can't redshirt him anyways, but mop up duty,
right? You know what I'm saying? If he just plays mop up duty every year, and you look at Cam Miller, and you look at the years of eligibility that Cam Miller has left, I might start to look around. Now, if I have a 10, 12, 14 play role every Saturday and I'm the primary backup, I think I look at that quite differently. Especially if even like if he's in it, I think he could be in, and this is funny because they're both left-handed, but I think he could be in like a Tebow role too in the red zone. I think there's lots of fun stuff you could do with him inside the 5-yard line. Have him run someone over at 6'3", 230, but jump passes, rollouts, nakeds, all sorts of stuff. And not that Cam Miller's ineffective inside the 5 because he's not, but like Cole Payton's terrifying inside the 5.
Right.
So I think that all kind of has to be a part of what the thing is, hey, we need to make Cole Payton a part of this program so he stays a part of this program.
Yeah, and I don't know if the coaches are necessarily worried. Worried is the word there. You're worried he's going to leave or not.
But you're cognizant of it.
You're cognizant of what the transfer portal is and the modern era of what college football is. We've talked about that with Coach Entz about NIL. He's very aware of what's happening out there and the Montana State Collective, and he's aware of all that stuff, and it's not going away. It'd be stupid to put your head in the sand and be like, oh, no, it doesn't matter. No one's going to leave. This program's different. And the program is different, but you kind of get the feeling, too, if you're a younger player, it's happened already with high school players, are you going to come to NDSU? Well, you are going to come to NDSU over a lot of group of 5 schools that aren't sending quarterbacks to the draft. Trey Lance got picked 3rd. Carson got picked 2nd. Easton was a draft pick. Like, there's a track record now, and sometimes it's worth sticking things out. But I do think there's a point to it of, hey, he's talented enough. Let's get him out there. Let's give him a little bit of a package. 1, because he's good, but 2, because Tyler Roll and Coach Entz both love to make everyone prepare for everything, right?
Yeah.
You do one package with them 1 week. Well, now it's 30 minutes, maybe an hour that somebody else, that next team is going to have to do to prep for that package. And what if we see this? And every team the rest of the season is going to have to prepare for it. Even if you never use it again, they have to be ready for it. So that also is an aspect of what coaches do.
100%. And I mean, you think about the different things they could do with them, and I've mentioned, I think that inverted delta is going to have to come back because they're that deep in the tailback room.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to find ways to get Hunter Lipke and Kobe Johnson on the field at the same time, Ganella and, Bussy.
Eric Williams.
My God. And, you can just go on and on and on and on. But
Brigid Pina's been mentioned quite a bit by the coaches.
Exactly. Imagine that group, but Cole Payton's the quarterback. Now you're a defensive front going, I have absolutely no idea who's going to get the ball. I don't know if they're going to throw it. I don't know if they're going to jet it. I don't know if they're going to run a dive or quarterback power. I'm terrified right now because someone is either going to make me miss or run me over, and that's not a great situation here on 3rd and 3 in a key spot of the game.
Exactly. Well, we'll get to a little bit more of that stuff a little bit later on. Got to take a break here and come back and wrap up hour number 1. Hour number 2, still plenty left to get to. A few more interviews from Rob Hipp at NDSU Media Day with some players here for the Bison. We'll touch on that stuff. And also Christian Watson, his future with the Packers when we come back.
Bison Nation, your exclusive home for North Dakota State athletics. Bison 1660.
Summer is usually the time when you're completing a long to-do list. If one of those things requires an electrician, then you need Rick Electric. It's Chris Hansen, and they've done plenty of great projects at our house. Rick Electric's been doing big projects and small projects all over the area since 1964. For your safety and for that of everyone around you, skip the DIY YouTube electrical work and call the experts at Rick Electric, 233-6194, rickelectric.com.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
If you're a fan of Twin Peaks, sign up for our e-club to stay up to date on all things Twin Peaks and score free stuff. Signing up is easy. Visit TwinPeaksRestaurant.com/Peaks-Club to get started today. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
We all want to be part of a winning team, right? Hi, this is Marcus with Steamatic, and I am very proud of our team. Industry experts have voted Steamatic the best method of cleaning with our patented steam cleaning process, our 24-hour service, and highly trained technicians. We do it all from carpet cleaning, air duct cleaning, fire and water damage restoration, and remember, Bison fanatics choose Steamatic.
Steamatic, call 232-4707.
NDSU football takes the field September 3rd on Bison 1660. We're here with you before the game.
Andy Rickoff and James Hendricks here with you on Bison Game Day, getting you ready for NDSU football.
During the game.
Looking over center, it's caught! It's a touchdown! It's a touchdown!
And after the game.
Welcome into Bison Hotline. Andy Rickoff, James Hendricks, Chris Hansen here with you on the show.
A full game day of green and gold every Saturday. The national champions play here on Bison 1660.
With over 900 vehicles in stock, Corwin Auto has you covered.
Looking for better fuel economy?
We have it with hybrids and electric vehicles.
Need more room for that growing family?
We have it. Upgrade to a van, SUV, or crossover.
Need more horsepower to work and play harder?
We have the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the area. Get exactly what you are looking for and don't settle when you can shop over 900 vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Corwin Auto has you covered. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
Here on Bison 1660, we love delivering the latest Bison news, but we also love our studio home.
Back inside our fantastic studio. You can't beat this one, folks. We love this place.
Now, our home has a new name, the Tharaldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Live shows and the latest coverage of NDSU athletics.
Director of Athletics Matt Larson joining us. Head coach Matt Entz with us in studio.
It's all presented by Tharaldson Ethanol, helping North Dakota lead the energy revolution. Join their growing team by visiting tharaldsonethanol.com. Miss any of the show? Catch the podcast of the show on SoundCloud or on Facebook and Twitter. Now, back to the Insiders.
Welcome back to the Insiders, hour number 1 on a Monday, kicking off another week, getting you 1 week closer to NDSU football. Drake, the season opener, raising another banner inside the Forgo Dome. Make sure you're there for that one. And all of our game day coverage, we had mentioned early on, if you missed the breaking news at the top of the show, we've got a new show coming here on Saturdays in the fall for all of our game day coverage, kicking things off. The Bison Report Show, hosted by Ross Uglum. We'll be doing that thing 6 hours to 4 hours before kickoff, leading right into the Bison Tailgate Show with the White Shadow himself, Brad Jones. Looking forward to that stuff. Also, this hour of the show brought to you by Rick Electric. And you need electrical work, you need Rick Electric. For over 56 years, Rick Electric has been providing excellent electrical services for homes and businesses. Visit them online at rickelectric.com. Just a couple minutes left in this hour. Play Rob Hipp's conversation with Mason Miller, offensive lineman, here to start off hour number 2. Also got a few more of them for you throughout today and the rest of the week. Fun article that came out over the weekend from ESPN, and Bill Conley's his name, a staff writer for ESPN who's been writing for a long time, covering college football mostly, also some soccer and MLS stuff, which was one of the ways I kind of first started reading some of his pieces. But been writing a lot of things about the FCS last few years as well, and had a piece on the future of FCS football and JMU's transition in year number 1, NDSU, where the Bison stand and what the future holds for them at the FCS level. That was a really good piece. Maybe go over that in hour number 2. But Bill will be joining us on Tuesday. He'll be joining us tomorrow, giving us a little bit of time to go over that article and also what he thinks the future is at the FCS level and the future for college football, which, who knows, by the time we get to tomorrow, might be a whole lot different, because the other thing we've heard from Bruce Feldman and a whole bunch of others saying that Oregon is having preliminary conversations about the possibility of moving to the Big Ten, which, when we hear that, it seems like it's already almost a done deal. It's more like, let's just see what other people think about this in the public eye. As long as we don't get absolutely murdered for it, we'll probably do it. That's the way it's gone with other moves, at least. So maybe even by the end of the week, you might hear, like, yep, Oregon's going to the Big Ten. It's probably going to be a done deal. But college football, the landscape just continuing to change. It's crazy.
Going to be the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah, that's basically it. And everybody else just kind of making the hodgepodge of the leftovers at that point. So means a lot for NDSU, obviously. We don't know what that means. Does the Mountain West get rated by the Pac-12? Does Pac-12 just get rated to nothing? Like, what happens there, and how does it affect people back here? Good news is we'll have the AD on. Matt Larson will be on Friday. So probably going to be some news by Friday, be my guess. And Matt Larson will be on with us, along with the head coach.
Maybe we'll be in the Pac-12 on Friday.
Yeah, maybe we will. Maybe that's the news. Who knows? Like I said with Kyle Emanuel, when this thing kind of started with USC and UCLA, you can't say something's crazy, because really anything's possible at this point.
That's all on the table.
And the thing you don't hear about is usually the thing that ends up happening, because we haven't really heard about these things, and all of a sudden it's Texas and Oklahoma and UCLA and USC, and it just shocks everybody. So that's just the point we're at. But we'll cover that in hour number 2. When we come back, Rob Hipp's conversation with Mason Miller. You're listening to The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Nutrisource is now introducing Superstars. It's a soft and tasty training reward for your pup in 4 delicious flavors: real chicken, cheddar cheese, beef, and real bacon. Each treat is less than 3 calories, and 100% of the profits from these treats go to the Nutrisource Superstars program, a program dedicated to helping family, children, and pets facing hardships. For more information on Nutrisource Superstars and all the organizations they support, go to NutrisourcePetFoods.com/giving-back.
If your current job is no longer fulfilling and your hard work and commitment isn't resulting in bigger paychecks, consider a change. Radio FM Media has an opening for an account executive. Successful people in this career are good at building and maintaining client relationships, helping clients succeed by utilizing radio, events, sports marketing, and digital campaigns. If this sounds like something that fits your personality and work ethic, and the idea of being in a creative, energized media environment excites you, send your resume to Jessica at radiofmmedia.com.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes. From their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream, Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
You saw people you haven't seen in a while.
You went places you haven't been in a while.
And you accumulated new and different junk.
You came home and you said,
"Where are we going to put all this?"
Relax. We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
No lifting.
No carrying.
No banging and bumping into walls.
Just a beautiful wide open space full of happiness and sunlight.
You'll have room to roam.
To breathe again.
You've never felt so free.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
The Bison 1660 crew is headed your way. Be listening in to the Insiders and check out Bison1660.com for a list of dates and locations for all our stops on the Bison 1660 Road Tour as another season of Bison football gets going. We give away Bison swag exclusively from CI Sport, plus Bison football tickets and the world-famous NDSU yard signs on our tour. Plenty of stops around town and a chance for you to watch the Insiders live. The Bison 1660 Road Tour is brought to you exclusively by the Bridges Apartments.
The construction is almost done at the Gateway Clearance Center, and the construction sale is going strong. No negotiations necessary, and payment starting as low as $99 a month. That's right, payment starting at just $99 a month at the Gateway Clearance Center, with a great selection of clean used cars, trucks, and SUVs. And right now, every vehicle is sale priced. Enjoy extra discounts for the construction sale going on now at Gateway Clearance Center on South University Drive in Fargo, or online at fmclearancecenter.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
The Carolina Panthers have just officially named Baker Mayfield their starting quarterback. The Panthers will open the regular season hosting Mayfield's former team, the Cleveland Browns. Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady returned to the team today after being away since August the 11th due to personal reasons. The Buccaneers will begin practice today at 12:45 Eastern. Fox Sports' Jay Glazer reports that Baltimore Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson was offered a contract in excess of the 5-year, $230 million deal that Arizona's Kyler Murray recently received. But the Jackson is seeking a fully guaranteed contract similar to what the Cleveland Browns gave Deshaun Watson. Also today, the Las Vegas Raiders traded quarterback Nick Mullins to the Minnesota Vikings for a conditional 7th-round draft pick in 2024. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
You've got the Insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders.
Insiders.
The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
Kyle joining us next week once again out at the honeymoon, enjoying sunshine. It's nice here, though. It's beautiful weather we're having in the Fargo-Moorhead area today. It looks nice and sunny and blue skies out behind Micah Bindi in our Theraldson Ethanol broadcast studio.
Are we betting that Kyle comes back with a tan or a burn?
We can. I would bet burn. I don't know if we got to make burn a favorite. Is it a heavy favorite? I don't know. It's going to be a lot of time outside.
Get Chris Hansen to give us a spread on it.
I don't know if he's like a big hiker or like going on big hikes, but there's a lot of places to hike in Hawaii, from what I've heard at least. I know his now wife, Jackie, is big in the outdoors and going on hikes and stuff, so what she wants to do is what they're going to be doing. So
that is how it works.
I would guess
you may
sunburn.
not be a married man, but you do have that much figured out.
I've at least learned how that goes at this point, so I would guess possible sunburn, but also probably just like when Jeff Culhane went down to Florida, like invest in sunscreen companies, people. Fair weathered skin down there. That he's going to need some sunscreen. So I would invest in those companies. I've heard he's got a little bit of a tan already. And not even to the first game yet. This is the first weekend. We'll have college football this weekend. We made it once again, like crowd cheer sound.
Week zero.
Week zero games this week. You've got Florida State and LSU, which means that Jeff will probably make an appearance on the show later on this week because, well, they have a game. Why not? Yeah. Talk about some week zero game. They have one. It's a big one. Why not talk about that one?
Where is that?
That is in the Superdome, New Orleans.
Okay.
I believe so. Neutral site in LSU's backyard.
Sounds super neutral. Super neutral.
Very neutral field there. A much more neutral field game would be Nebraska and Northwestern, who play in Dublin. That's much more neutral-ish.
Right on.
I feel like it's a long distance for both of them.
Absolutely.
It's not in the backyard of either one of those universities. So those two also a week zero game. Kyle will probably try and find a way to watch that game. He is very nervous for the upcoming Nebraska Huskers football season, especially since they play UND in week 1, but week 2 for Nebraska.
Is he a big Husker guy?
Oh, yeah.
I know he's from there.
Mm-hmm. Big Husker guy. Thought about going there, decided to come to NDSU, and was very happy with that decision.
Sure. I just, sometimes, like, I know Minnesota guys that didn't get the Minnesota offer that would be Gopher fans, but are now, like, very much not Gopher fans. So I didn't know what Kyle's relationship was with Big Red.
Yes. No, still a big fan.
Fair enough.
But hasn't been much to cheer about lately.
No.
For them. No doubt about that. And
my guy Zach Willis has many mean things to say about Scott Frost.
Oh, I bet. A lot of people do, and some of them are actually would call themselves fans of that university and that program. But they still have mean things to say about him because they want you to win, and they haven't done a whole lot of that the last few years. NDSU does not kick off for another 12 days, 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 10 seconds. There you go, on the dot. Our NDSU countdown to kickoff clock. There you go. Said it right. On our website, Bison1660.com, brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer of the Bison. And the voice of the Bison is Rob Hipp. He caught up with Mason Miller, Bison offensive lineman, at NDSU Media Day. Here's that conversation with Rob and Mason right now.
Hey, Bison Nation, Rob Hipp here with junior offensive tackle Mason Miller. Only grew up about 45 minutes across the border in Minnesota. Mason, how are things going today, my friend?
Really good, really good. Excited to be here.
I've talked so much. The thing that I've learned, and I've only been here a short time, but the thing that I've learned about this program is excellence. How would you define what you have seen just throughout NDSU and your time here so far, man?
I mean, it's a special place, that's for sure. It's a everyday type mentality where you go in, you grind your butt off, and then the results speak for themselves, just how hard everybody works here. So,
of course, as good as anybody, being out there on the field, there's so much talent, so much depth, specifically on that offensive tackle position. What do you really face every day, and what are you out there really fighting for?
It's we've got 4 or 5 guys that could play every single position. That can start in any single position, start at any team here in the Valley, and it's a privilege to be able to go out and compete against those guys, and it just makes every single one of us better. So,
what have you learned so far in this off season, with the new season, of course, looming in just a few weeks? What are some takeaways that you have so far? Some things to improve on heading into the new season?
I mean, there's always things to improve on. If you come out of the day and you don't have something to improve on, then I don't think you're doing it right. So, I just think that watching guys like Cody Malk and Cordell Volson that have really mentored me and I think just taking away things that they've taught me, and I think that's just going to help me propel my game even further. So,
with the tremendous success behind this program for so many years, do you feel any pressure on your back, and kind of how do you brush that off and just focus on the game?
There's obviously been a ton of great offensive linemen that have come from NDSU, most recently with Dylan and Cordell, but I think it's just those guys they help prepare you for the moments of when their shoes need to be filled. So I think it's not really a stress; it's more of a pressure. So it's just going to be, can we go out there and do that? And I think that we can. So
one of the best phrases that I heard, I actually used it in an interview once, was "diamonds are produced under pressure." So you guys are producing diamonds, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Final last couple of questions here. We talk a lot of football. What do you do outside of football, man? What are some of your hobbies? What do you like to do?
I like to hang out with the boys. It's we kind of got our little group of guys, and it's fun, and we like to go out to eat at Texas Roadhouse. So that's always a good time when we go there, get some prime rib or ribeye or whatever. But otherwise, it's just kind of fun to hang out and chill and go hunting once in a while and fishing in the summertime when we have time. So otherwise, during the season, we get a little busy. So
it's junior offensive tackle Mason Miller. Final question: this fan base here with Bison Nation, so impactful for you as a student athlete. What does the fan base mean to you, and just how excited are you when you look around in the dome at home games and see that many people there?
Oh, it's an awesome feeling. You look up in the crowd and you just see a solid wall of yellow behind you, and it means so much. So every time that we get all those fans in the dome, it's like having another guy on the field, really. That noise, that energy that they bring, when we're down and we have a bad series, we always have the fans to rely on, and hopefully they can rely on us to bring them some joy. So,
all right, Mason, we're looking forward to getting to see you this season and learn a lot more about you and the great work that you're doing. Appreciate your time, young man.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hip.
Once again, junior offensive tackle Mason Miller.
Mr. Hip, love that. Mason Miller, about as close to Canada as you can get without being Canada. And has the accent to prove it, too.
Yeah.
That was the battle of accents.
And the manners.
Right, it was the manners as well.
Yeah.
It was like the southern accent and the y'all in there, and then you had the out and the oop and the ye's. It was great. A fun interview there. Rob Hip and Mason Miller, who we talk about Cody Malk. Obviously Cody's great because, one, he's a very good player, phenomenal player and athlete, but also first down celebrations, outgoing personality, kind of a jokester, goofy dude, and that's fun to talk with and talk about. But we haven't talked, I think, enough about Mason Miller and how good he is, and how you got a bunch of offensive linemen that have a ton of experience there and can play multiple positions now on the offensive line. And Mason, you have another good year this year. I think he puts themselves on those NFL radars too.
Yeah, it's funny. You go back and look at that Sam Houston State playoff game that they lost and talk about what I was just saying with the experience that was gained.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Miller started an FCS playoff game at like 271 pounds at tackle as a true freshman. It was just such an insane time. The experience that Gray and Jake Rock and Mason Miller got and now have kind of banked, even though they weren't a massive part of what went on last year. It's crazy. Every year they talk about, well, we'd really like to see 7 or 8 guys rotate through that offensive line. And it never really turns out that way. I don't know how you can keep Brandon Westberg, Gray Zabel, and Jake Rock just not a part of things. Right. And there are other names, too, like Lou Glosalento. You talk about Hunter Pontius, finally a guy maybe taking a step. I don't know that they're going to be able to just hang out with the starting 5, but I am excited for Mason because this is a guy who's stepping into maybe not, I would guess, the Chief Ram role, because Chief Ram was Cordell for a while, and he was a tone setter, and I'm sure there's a tone setter in that room, but ultimately they're in a spot now where I don't know how much of a drop off there's going to be in play. That's a lot to say, for a
fourth round pick. Fourth round
pick that's probably going to start for the defending AFC champions in about a week and a half here. But I really think that Mason is not going. It's not going to be a noticeable drop off. And I know he was from a small town, but he was a big deal when they got him.
Yeah.
And that was a major recruiting win, a major situation that they were excited about. And he's proved himself as Ogre. He's proved himself in some spot duty when they were trying to put Cordell in at guard or just give someone a blow. I'm really, really excited for this offensive line group because the cohesion you're going to have from right guard to left tackle is unbelievable. I mean, how many?
Where do you think he starts on the line?
Right tackle.
Right tackle.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, too.
Yep.
You just know there's
Yep.
so many multiple spots for these guys.
The amount of football that, starting at right guard, Kubis, Sundell, Nash, and Cody have played together is unreal.
Yeah.
And just another year stronger, another year older. I mean, they're going to be 23, 24-year-old men blocking 18, 19, 20-year-old pass rushers. It's going to be interesting.
And I mean, we didn't make fun of it. We kind of made a big deal of it last year. I think it was Cordell broke the record for like most starts or most games played.
Nash and Cody can be
They're
right there.
They're going to break it too.
Yeah,
Noah Gindorf,
right
I think,
there.
will break it as
Yeah.
well because he's coming back for an extra year here. So, yeah, when you look at that offensive line, you got Mason Miller. You mentioned the names. Luke Lasalento, a big acquisition from the transfer portal a couple of years ago, coming from San Diego, who provides great depth, and I know they like him. Gray Zabel got multiple starts and
Absolutely he did.
really, really good when
Yes.
he did get those starts as well
Absolutely.
back in that spring season. Jake Rock's been a phenomenal piece. They've got, again, there's going to possibly be
Now
some
he's-
injuries. We don't want there to be,
Right.
but you've got depth all over the place, and Brendan Westbrook looked really good when he had to step in at center last
And
year.
now-
We thought that was going to be a challenge, but it
Now
wasn't.
Gray is healthy and 18 months older with 18 more months of Kramer.
Yeah.
It's a scary deal.
Yeah, Mason Miller now is at 296.
Yeah.
You know, like they put 20-plus pounds on him and made him better technically, and you just got so many pieces you can use there. Unfortunately for them, it's not the defensive line where you're just rotating guys in as often, but you have that possibility if you want.
Yeah, it's funny. There are certainly offensive linemen, kind of built like kegs.
Yeah.
And there are also offensive linemen built like large tight ends. Mason Miller is built like a large tight end. There's no gut there.
Yeah.
So you get a guy like that up to 296, 301, 302, and all of a sudden you've really got an unbelievable pass blocker because Mason Miller has tight end feet. I mean, he can move and he can stay in front of guys, and he starts to get, like you said, what did you say, 296?
296, what's on at the roster right now.
Right.
6'6",
I mean,
296.
I mean, you start to get into that 300-pound range and start to be able to move defensive ends off the ball in the run game at that size. That's really impressive. And Cordell was always a thicker dude. Like, Cordell had no problem being 6'7", 320 or whatever he was. Mason is one of those project types that do show up here. I think Dylan Radens was very similar, showed up here 260 pounds. Those guys start to add that other weight. That's when the NFL... Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good weight where you are still athletic. You can move a lot.
Interesting.
Very interesting, especially when you're playing a tackle position. Those are the premium positions.
Yep.
Not just in the NFL, in college football too, but all over football to be able to play the tackle
Gotta play-
spots.
yep.
I'll throw one more name out there, and it's not for this year. But you always like to hear names of who's the future Bison, what's the next guys. Sam Henry is still a name that I
He
think
was
is
a
going
big
to be
deal.
great. He was a huge get
Yep,
for them
he
out
was
of
a big
Eden
deal.
Prairie High School in Minnesota. And 6'6", 280 right now as a redshirt freshman. He's got plenty of years left. He's not going to play a huge impact this year, but that's a player I look at for the future on the offensive line as another big name to just file away for later.
And they've had, ever since, honestly, Rado blew his knee out, they've had pretty good luck on the offensive line, especially at tackle for health. Like, Cordell played a lot of games. Cody's played a lot of games. Rado, after he got hurt the first time, played a lot of games.
Lost Sundell for a few last year.
Right. But outside, that's a guy where if there's a catastrophe, I would feel really good about Sam Henry.
Okay.
Catastrophe. But if there was a catastrophe, I wouldn't be worried about a redshirt freshman Sam Henry in there.
Yeah, he's got the size at 6'6", 280. It's not 296 or 300, but
Right.
he's got some size there to him. And I know the coaching staff was absolutely overjoyed to get him in the recruiting process there a couple of, recruiting processes ago now at this point, a couple of recruiting cycles ago for the coaching staff. We'll take a break, then we'll come back. Some thoughts on Christian Watson. We still got to get Dom Ganella, that interview with Rob Hipp a little bit later, but when we come back, we'll go over the future of a former Bison, now in the pros, and Christian Watson, and talk about some of the other pro Bison and their prospects at the NFL level. When we come back here, Andy and Ross on The Insiders.
Your home for the Thundering Herd. Bison 1660.
Do you remember back to the days when business was conducted at the coffee shop? The details were written on a napkin and the deal was concluded by a handshake. If you were the supplier, you probably filled out the check and the amount, and if the guy really trusted you, you filled in the check register. The check might even have been a counter check. Now you can do it on our iPad or phone or get confirmation that the transaction was concluded by clicking the right button on your email program. Memories. Need seed. Think Proceed.
Hey, have you checked out the new and used truck selection at Muscatel's lately? We do love our trucks, and men and women in most all occupations have enjoyed Muscatel's stellar award-winning service. Muscatel Burns Ford has a good selection to choose from now for work or play. So stop in Muscatel Burns Ford on Highway 10 in Holly or online at muscatelburnsford.com. Say it with me. Get your next Ford from Ward.
Cardinal IG would like to shine the spotlight on their employees celebrating August anniversaries. Marty Severson is celebrating 23 years. Okabai Ebe is celebrating 9 years. Daniel Mawa, 4 years. Randy Monroe, Razine Asfaha, and David Bunzo are all celebrating their first year. From the entire team, thank you. Cardinal IG offers competitive pay, outstanding benefits, and an extensive training program. Now hiring for production technicians and maintenance technicians. Apply online at cardinalfargo.com.
Summer is usually the time when you're completing a long to-do list. If one of those things requires an electrician, then you need Rick Electric. It's Chris Hansen, and they've done plenty of great projects at our house. Rick Electric's been doing big projects and small projects all over the area since 1964. For your safety and for that of everyone around you, skip the DIY YouTube electrical work and call the experts at Rick Electric, 233-6194. RickElectric.com.
Barcode for lunch? Stop it! Yep, it's not just your favorite for happy hours and late night fun. Their lunch is delicious and they get you in and out quick. Stop it! Barcode for lunch? I love their pizza. Well, that's perfect. Monday through Friday from 11 to 2, get any 16-inch handmade pizza for half price with the purchase of 2 drinks. Stop it! Or grab one of their famous burgers. Stop it! All right, seriously, stop it with the stop it. Oh, you don't like that? Stop it! Barcode across from Costco, just off Veterans.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Starting off your week with mostly sunny skies and a high that's going to be in the low to mid 80s. A light breeze of 6 to 9 miles per hour out of the south. Tonight, 20% chance of some showers, and we will cool down into the lower 60s. This weather update brought to you by Brady Service Center in Moorhead. Brady Service Center is your one-stop shop for all of your automotive needs, and with donuts, breakfast, and lunch items daily, they're also your one-stop shop for all your road trip needs.
Whether it's the FCS, NFL, or productivity at work, we have you covered.
That man is playing Galaga. Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did.
It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
12:22 the time here on the Insiders, Monday edition. Be joined by some other voices throughout the week. I think Cole Jerick will stop by, confirming with him. Yeah, he's busy. Rob Hipp will join us for the majority of the show tomorrow, which will be a lot of fun. Our Bison 1660 Road Tour gets going here soon as well. If you want to look for all of our stops on the Bison 1660 Road Tour, you can make sure to go to our website, bison1660.com. We have the schedule up there for you live today. So a bunch of stops throughout a little bit of August, but also in September. That first month, basically, of the season will be out at a whole bunch of different spots. You can watch the Insiders live. We'll have yard signs. We'll have tickets. We'll have other swag and different items to give away. So make sure you're out there at all of our stops. And again, the locations, the dates of those locations and shows will be on our website, bison1660.com. The Bison Road Tour brought to you by The Bridges Apartments. And our show, as always, brought to you by Proceed, home of the Right Choice and Right Stuff programs, online at proceed.net. If you need seed, think Proceed. Andy and Ross in here with you. Also do a lot of work covering the Green Bay Packers. I've said I've never drafted a Green Bay Packer in any of my fantasy football leagues. That could be an exception this year for Christian Watson if he's available late. I think there's a chance he's available late in some of those NFL, fantasy football leagues. Somebody's out there and playing one of those. And it looks like he's off the PUP list. He's now, as you mentioned already, he's on some team drills now, and hopefully gets a chance to play in their final preseason game against Kansas City this next weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be interesting, too, because of the week off, that didn't used to exist. And this is the final preseason game, but it's still the third preseason game, which many refer to as the dress rehearsal. Aaron Rodgers has not so much put on shoulder pads this entire preseason Neither have most of anybody who's actually going to contribute. It's been largely a depth thing for Green Bay, and I think a lot of coaches are really shying away from putting guys that matter. Not obviously you got a rookie quarterback or you got a quarterback that hasn't quite figured. Like Daniel Jones played a ton of snaps. I mean, there's that, but Carson Wentz is getting acclimated to Washington's system, et cetera, et cetera. But if you've got a guy that's been there for a minute, like how many snaps has Kirk Cousins played?
Hundreds.
No.
Oh, in the preseason?
In this preseason,
not a single one.
Bagel.
Missed the first game because of COVID. And
But probably wouldn't have played either.
either.
Right.
Yep.
Shoot, Trey Lance didn't play.
Yeah.
I mean,
and a lot of coaches are taking especially with that second preseason game when everyone does their joint practices. We got a joint practice correspondent live back there behind the booth. Anything else from joint practices we missed?
I haven't heard anything yet.
Okay, just wanted to make
Nothing
sure.
on Twitter for me.
Fair enough.
Wanted to make sure. They basically treat that joint practice as a preseason game.
Yeah.
You're getting 80 reps, and you can't be tackled or taken to the ground, so it works
Yeah.
even better for
Yep.
them, and that's why they don't play in that second preseason game.
So the third preseason game being the dress rehearsal, there is a discussed possibility that Rodgers, Lazard, Cobb, the guys who are going to actually play, Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon haven't played a snap.
Mm-hmm.
The actual offense might get a series or two against Kansas City on Thursday. So if the only preseason game you're going to get in is that one, that's not bad.
Yeah.
It's
the one to be in.
Right, exactly. If you're going to get a chance to get some live reps against a different colored jersey with Rodgers as your quarterback, that's valuable. Look, yeah, the knee injury stinks. That's too bad that happened. But it's a lot better than him coming in week 6 with no live reps with Rodgers and just being expected to play NFL football.
Yeah.
This is a better scenario than that.
It's better than the injury happening week 1. You're missing a bunch of games.
100%. And even honestly, the chance to work with Jordan Love, who looked like a much better quarterback that second year. And, I mean, there's certainly a world in which after this year or after the year after that, that's his quarterback. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's certainly on the table where that relationship with Jordan Love and Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson and Amari Rodgers, that could potentially be a very important relationship for Green Bay moving forward. So any reps are good reps, and if he does get a chance to play against Kansas City, we'll be watching very carefully and be very, very excited for the young man. I've been waiting for that moment to actually see him in that uniform since the day he was drafted, and it should be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him and seeing the best for him in year number 1. You always kind of wonder what the expectations are, and especially when you're injured in preseason a little bit, not getting as many reps, you wonder a bit more. I would think, if Aaron Rodgers plays, if that number 1 offense plays, they play a series, maybe 2. But Christian's going to play probably more than that. You expect him to be in with the second units there as well.
The only thing is there a rep count based on his knee injury?
True.
Because if he was 100% full go, they might let him play the whole game. By the way, this was an off-air conversation. Cordell Volson, 67 snaps. He played every snap of left guard against the Giants last night.
That's phenomenal.
So that could be a part where Christian is like, okay, maybe with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter we'll pull you. But if there were absolutely no health-related restrictions on him, I think they would be like, okay, you're going to play X on this play, and then we're going to run this, and you're going to play Z here, and then we're going to run that jet motion thing that we want to run to you maybe this season one time, and we're going to give you looks in the slot, and we're going to give you 50 reps because you don't have any other reps. You don't have the team reps from late July. You don't have first preseason game reps. You don't have second they might give him the Cordell treatment, and although he's a wide receiver, so he would rotate more, maybe it's 40 reps, 35 reps, but he very well could be on a 10, 12, 15, 20 play script because they want to be cautious with that knee.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Again, it's the preseason. Every team handles it a little bit differently. So let's move on.
And again, I'm not announcing that he's playing. He might sit again.
He might.
He just sat a game on Saturday that he wasn't ready for. So Friday night. Who's to say he's ready 6 days later? There's no guarantee of that.
Yeah, but there's a possibility, and if he gets in, that's a good game to be in because that's the one where you might have the first-team offense, possibly,
right,
out there for the Packers and a whole lot of other teams. I'll move on to another one. We've mentioned him already a couple of times now. Cordell Volson had Charlie Goldsmith on last week from the Cincinnati Enquirer, and he said it was a great day of practice because Cordell took over the number 1 team reps at left guard and had a great first preseason game, took over those reps then in practice and played every rep now, it looks like, in that game against the Giants yesterday for Cincinnati. They wanted to get him an extended look, an extended run there. And you can't say flawless. Gave up some pressures, gave up a sack, but that's going to happen in the NFL when you're a rookie and they're going against some pretty good players. For the most part, still I thought good outing for Cordell, and he's put himself in a spot to be a starter on a team.
It's funny because, Cordell was a very versatile guy.
Yeah.
They ended up flipping him and Cody again, but at the start of last season, remember, I think the old adage kind of won out for Coach Dan Larson, which is that you put your best offensive lineman at left tackle. They decided, actually, no, we're going to go ahead and put our best offensive lineman at right tackle because that's where he plays his best. Josh Sitton, former Green Bay Packer, I remember when they moved he and Brian, this was before they knew David Bakhtiari was going to be good. They moved after Chad Clifton and Mark Tauscher were basically not ready to or not able to play anymore. They moved Josh Sitton, who was their best offensive lineman, from right guard to left guard, and put Brian Bulaga from right tackle to left tackle because that was their best guys. And Josh Sitton so eloquently put it, like it was learning to, I'm going to use this term or phrase delicately, learning to wipe yourself with the other hand.
There you go.
And so the one spot outside of center, which you wouldn't want Cordell probably to play a ton of center because he's 6'7", but the one spot where he didn't actually get a ton of live game reps at North Dakota State happened to be left guard. He would kick into right guard when they bring in Mason Miller to play right tackle. As I mentioned, they started him out at left tackle last season. Plenty of reps at left tackle, a bazillion reps at right tackle, and some right guard. The one place they never really played him was left guard, where he might start 16 games in his rookie year. And you make the joke or make the conversation about like learning to wipe with the other hand. It'd be like learning to write with your left hand. It's hand placement, it's footwork, it's all the things that you've been taught how to do as a right side of the offensive line player, you are having to learn and adjust as a left side of the offensive line player. They are not the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see how he does kind of work through that. There are going to be some hiccups, but he's a pro's pro, man. Lyle Collins, who's going to probably play right tackle for them long term. Cowboy, everybody, or some people remember his very strange drop in the draft when everybody pretty much thought he was a top 10 pick and fell to the Cowboys. Well, he's going to play right tackle there. And I think he said something along the lines of Cordell's one of the best rookie offensive linemen I've ever been around. And part of that,
of video of him working with Cordell after practice.
Yeah, and I think, let's be real, part of that has to do with the fact that Cordell's 24 years old. That cannot be understated. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there aren't a ton of rookies coming in, not from BYU, who haven't done a Mormon mission, that are 24 and have played 6 years of college football. I mean, Cordell's ready to go right now. There's a lot of guys that were drafted this year that played 3 years of college football and bounced. A lot of them were taken in the first round. So it's not surprising to me that Cordell's ready to go right now. And I'm not saying that if he were 21, he wouldn't be a great prospect, because I think he would be, but part of his readiness, part of how excited they are about him right now, has to do with the fact that he is physically mature. And folks talk about like your prime when you're 26 or 27. He's really close to that. Your prime year in the NFL is your upper to mid 20s. He's almost there. So it's not surprising to me that he's impressing people both with his maturity, his attitude, and just with his physical makeup.
Yeah, he's going to be a great player, and having experience already to protect Joe Burrow. Pretty prized possession back there for Cincinnati.
It
Not
is
just the team, but the entire state of Ohio.
Really. It is, and honestly, I mean, the biggest reason they didn't win the title.
Yeah,
frankly,
honestly, yeah, and surprised he even got there because he got sacked. I think it was 9 times against Tennessee in their playoff game, but they were able to. One more guy we'll touch on, and then we'll take a quick break. Chris Board is in a bit of a battle for a linebacker spot. Looks to be in a good spot to possibly start for the Detroit Lions this year. Haven't touched a lot on Chris the last couple of weeks, but looks like he's racking up some tackles, taking a ton of first-team reps. That's a player we could see a lot because we get NFC North games around here. Vikings will play him twice, Packers would play him twice, Bears obviously would play him twice too. But a player that has done really well for himself after being basically just a special teams guy. He could be a starting linebacker again this year.
He's such an awesome story, man. I know Matt Entz just beams when he talks about him because, I mean, he could hardly start here.
Yeah. He really didn't start his last year here. He was just a special teams guy.
Exactly. Gets forced into a situation against James Madison because NDSU's got a couple guys down, and always been a physical freak. I remember looking at him and thinking, and they did. I mean, I remember the game they lost in Montana. Like he was playing strong safety, which is just bonkers to me.
Mhm.
But I mean, he was
a walk off the bus guy.
Yeah, he was playing strong safety, and I just remember he was always built like the Terminator, always built like the Terminator, and could barely get time here. Special teams monster. Obvious athletic freak, tests super well. The Ravens, who are some of the best talent evaluators in the NFL. I mean, Ozzie does a great job. Those guys, I know Green Bay pilfered Milt Hendrickson from their staff just because of how much respect the rest of the league has for how Baltimore does it. Baltimore IDs him, goes in there, plays for 3 years, plays a reasonable amount of defensive snaps too, and now is going to try and catch on in Detroit, but he's a fast guy. He's a big guy, and kind of a see-ball, hit-ball guy. And if your defense allows for that, and you're not going to give him a ton of coverage checks, and it's more of a see-ball, hit-ball type of thing, he's a weapon, man. I mean, he can fly around and make plays for you.
I think see-ball, hit-ball perfectly describes what Dan Campbell wants to do as well.
Absolutely.
He just hit the football. We're playing. We're tackling.
Absolutely.
He's a perfect Dan Campbell kind of player, too.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy he has stuck around. And when I say he was just a special teams guy, he was the guy on special teams.
Absolutely.
He was a freak on special teams for NDSU, transferred that over to the NFL, and has made one heck of a career for himself, and that's been great to see. Some more pro Bison, not that we'll touch on them in a little bit, but we got to take a break here. We'll take a break now. We'll come back, and Rob Hipp's conversation with Dominic Ganello. We'll hear that when we come back.
North Dakota State football plays here. Bison 1660.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, you're always welcome where there's Jim Beam. Small town guy in a big city guy in a small town. Wherever Jim Beam is welcome, you'll be welcome. Country guy at a rock show, Viking fan at a Packer game.
And the throw incomplete. Oh, what a pressing tackle.
Just look for the Jim Beam, and you're always welcome. Your friends at Jim Beam remind you to drink responsibly.
Living at the Bridges has been a great experience for me, and I'm inviting you to come check it out too. Hey, it's Paige Vargas, pitcher for the Bison softball team. The Bridges has all-inclusive pricing. That means internet, cable, electric, water, everything is included in your one monthly payment. The units are fully furnished. It has a fitness center, outdoor courtyard with fireplaces and grills, an automated convenience store. And it's right across from the Shack, so I can walk there every day. Tour today to find out more. Online at bridgesnd.com.
Dakota Refrigeration has been helping the Bison succeed behind the scenes. From their training room to their dining room, from milk to medicine, from ice to ice cream, Dakota Refrigeration has been serving Minnesota, Montana, and the Dakotas for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, Dakota Refrigeration is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical needs. Dakota Refrigeration, located in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot.
Here on Bison 1660, we love delivering the latest Bison news, but we also love our studio home.
Back inside our fantastic studio. You can't beat this one, folks. We love this place.
Now our home has a new name, the Therrelson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Live shows and the latest coverage of NDSU athletics.
Director of Athletics Matt Larson joining us. Head coach Matt Entz with us in studio.
It's all presented by Therrelson Ethanol, helping North Dakota lead the energy revolution. Join their growing team by visiting TherrelsonEthanol.com.
Don't let your profits get stuck in your truck. Let it slide with Super Slide. Super Slide is a plastic, non-stick, self-lubricating, and seamless liner that eliminates waste in your truck or on your trailer. Super Slide is available in various grades, widths, and thicknesses, and Horn Plastics can have you in and out in no time. Call today to get your installation scheduled so you can get every last dime out of your haul with Super Slide from Horn Plastics, created and perfected for every job. Visit hornplastics.com for more information.
Looking to add some light and brighten up the inside of your home? Maybe you have an outdoor project or you're looking to update in the garage. Then the team at JDP Electric should be your first and only phone call. JDP Electric makes the process easy. Their dedicated team of professionals can assist with any size project or idea you may have, and even provide a few ideas they see that fit your budget as well. Don't mess with the electricity. Make sure to call in the pros. Call 701-232-1991 today to experience the JDP difference.
here for you for all the Bison football coverage you can handle.
These guys do an unbelievable job, and you want to know what's going on in Bison sports, tune into the Insiders.
The Insiders on Bison 1660 and 92.7 FM.
About 12:40 on the program. Again, our Bison 1660 Road Tour coming your way, starting up here in the month of August and going basically throughout the entire month of September. Got something like 13, 14 stops on this thing. Every stop will have different things to give away. We'll have some football tickets at some of them. We'll have yard signs. We'll have different Bison swag. Everyone's talking about the hoodies this year. I think we made a little bit of a little change in that one, but CI Sport doing a great job providing some apparel for us as well that will be given away at all these stops on the Bison 1660 Road Tour. You can go onto our website, bison1660.com, and find all the stops on our Road Tour, which is where we will be live. You can come out and watch the show, talk with us, interact, and we'll have some great shows out there in the area, in the community here, all throughout September, and even starting up in August, starting next week on game week. Our Bison 1660 Road Tour is brought to you by the Bridges Apartments. They make college living easy. Lease now and get 1 month free, all-inclusive pricing. Internet, cable, electric, water, everything is included in your monthly lease. Tour the bridges near NDSU today or online at bridgesnd.com. Well, Rob Hipp, the voice of the Bison, caught up with one Dominic Ganella at NDSU Media Day. Talked with the running back in that loaded running backs room. Here's that conversation now.
Hey, Bison Nation, Rob Hipp here now with junior running back Dom Ganella, all the way from Florida. But you've been here for a while now, so those Florida vibes, are they still connected to you a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so. I haven't been back in a while, but definitely still there.
You've been here since a freshman. You've seen some incredible success, Dom, in this program. And as a running back, there's a lot of depth in that position as well. What has it been like for you just to have so much great competition, but also just great friends on the team?
I would say it really brings you together as a family, especially when you can compete at such a high level like we do every day, because we're all trying to earn our spot on the field as much as we can. So we still stay together and tight. It never roughs up the friendship when we're out there on the field.
What's been some of the hurdles that you've had to overcome? Of course, the weather, but I'm talking on the football field. What have you had to overcome here being at North Dakota State?
I would just say being reliable at all times. Like in this program, the main people who are going to play are how reliable you are on the field. Do you know the playbook really well? Are you in the film as much as you need to be and stuff? And can you lead the team to victory?
Who do you kind of cling to on the team? Who mentors you? Who do you look up to, man?
I wouldn't say I look up to anyone, but we're all kind of really tight-knit together. There's captains on the team and stuff, but we're all friends and buddies, as you would assume, just having a friend out there. And I want to say the real world, but football, same thing. We just come together like a family.
Through this whole off season, getting prepared, trying to make another run. Again, I talk about the success, and you know it, and the excellence that's behind this program. What are some things from that running back position, maybe not you personally, but just as an entire group, that you think the running backs need to work on, and where's that heading?
I would just say being more reliable. If we're going out to block, our block is always made. If we're out in pass protection, we're always getting our pickups. We're always on point in our checks, getting out on releases and such like that. The little details is the biggest thing, I would say.
What are you looking forward to the most with this upcoming season that's just literally 3 weeks away or so?
Another exciting year of a lot of explosive plays, a lot of big touchdowns, and hopefully another national championship.
Camp already 6 days in, I believe now. What has that process been like for you so far?
It's fun. We get to compete every day. We're going against the best in FCS football every day, especially with our defense flying around. So I would say it's fun. It brings the team together, and it's exciting for the year.
You put on the yellow and green. That first time you put the jersey on, what did that mean to you, and what does it mean to you now?
It means a lot. Your whole life you dream of playing college football. You never know really where you're going to end up, but when putting the jersey on, going out there in the Fargo Dome with the stadium rocking, it's amazing.
I always like to pull in Bison Nation and talk about them. This fan base has been so incredible for you as a student athlete. What does that mean to you when you have that many thousands and thousands of fans, not only in the Dome, but on the road, and, of course, even at the tailgate cheering you guys on?
It means everything. Just any fan that comes up to you or even talks to you, gives you the time of day, it's really encouraging. It helps the guys. We push a little bit more just knowing that Bison Nation's out there pulling for us every game, and we don't want to let them down.
Talking to Dom Ganella, junior running back here at NDSU. Final couple of questions off the football side of things. What do you do for fun? What's going on outside of football?
Outside of football is baseball, so I'm just playing baseball in the summer and then getting ready for football season when I come back.
Who's your favorite baseball team and player?
Arizona Diamondbacks, and player right now I would say Trout.
What do you think of the Astros? I'm from Texas.
Cheating.
You can't see it on the audio, folks, but he just kind of went, geez.
Yeah.
Finally, man, most important question, chicken or turkey?
Chicken. I'm a chicken guy for sure.
Well, great. We've enjoyed it. It's Dom Ganella again, junior running back. Looking forward to so much more success. Your future's very bright, young man. Bringing it all the way from Florida. Excited to be here and really excited about the upcoming season for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There's Dominic Ganella from, Riverview, Florida, Bloomingdale High School. We know about the baseball background with him as well and what he's done, playing some baseball in the summers, actually technically as a pro baseball player. But he is one of those guys in the running back room, and we mention as a loaded room where you've got to do a lot to get on the field and you've got to prove yourself because there's guys there that have a ton of experience. Dom is one of them. And I wouldn't say he by any means carried the team or was the bell cow back in September, but there were some games where he finished with the most carries, and there were some days where he finished with the most yards. So he's clearly one of the top guys there in that running back room. Going to be interesting to see how they divvy up the carries in that position. How Tyler Rowe goes about the good problem he has of having too many good backs right now.
Yeah, we touched on that. Well, I guess actually that episode of Bison Report Radio is in the tank. It has not been yet released, but we talked about this off air. If I was Missouri State or USD or another top 25-ish FCS program, I could build my entire offense around Tamarick Williams. I could build my entire offense around TK Marshall. I could darn sure build my entire offense around Dom Ganella.
Absolutely.
They have just dudes. I mean, if Barica is anything, Kobe, Barica, Bussey, Williams, Marshall, Ganella, and I've heard nice things about Owen Johnson, and
there's some guy named Hunter Lipke.
Right, exactly.
It's a bit of everything, but
yeah,
he's a running back.
I mean, it's crazy, and that's why I'm saying you talk about pony packages with 2 backs, talk about the inverted delta with 3 backs. They're gonna be in a situation, I think, where especially early on, as they kind of integrate this receiver group that doesn't have a Christian Watson anymore, where talk about that best 11. That best 11 might include 2 or 3 running backs.
Yeah, they're just that loaded. They didn't even bring one in the last recruiting class because
Which
they were
never happens.
Never, especially at NDSU where they run the ball so much. You're going to need depth there, and they're like, we have it, and we have it in spades. We don't need to add anymore. We'll take a year off from that position. And Dominic Ganella is one of those guys that they love and they should love at the running back position. We'll take one more timeout. We'll come back. We'll wrap up the show here for you next on a Monday.
This is the Insiders on your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics, Bison 1660.
Tired of your vehicle sounding like this? Want it to sound like this? Or this? The exhaust experts at Bruns Automotive can help you. From exhaust, oil changes, brakes, alignments, and more, there's nothing the ASE certified technicians at Bruns Automotive can handle. With 3 generations of automotive experience, you can trust Bruns to get the job done right. Check them out on Facebook or at brunsautomotive.com.
Hi, it's Kelly, and I want to tell you about my great experience with Valley Service Mechanical. They were polite and very easy to deal with. They were knowledgeable and helped me understand every step of the process. From the initial discussion of purchase options to the installation, it was a top-notch experience. If you ever want to work with professionals, I would strongly recommend Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. online at valleyservice.net.
When it's time to find a realtor, word of mouth is important, and Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty is a name Bison Nation says often. Todd has helped everyone from coaches and administrators to broadcasters and former players and their families buy homes in the FM area. So many in Bison Nation trust Todd to buy and sell their homes, and you can too. Call Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him in person at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Cattermas with Beyond Realty. Moving the herd one home at a time.
Remember checking the markets back in the day? If you go way back, they moved about a nickel a year. It was up a penny, the word spread through party lines, and everybody revved up their single axes with no hoist and motored to town. Then came the 70s with a Russian grain deal, tandems and limit moves on the grains, 30 cents beans. The radio was just starting to have closes, and sometimes the 6 o'clock news had markets. Nowadays, almost everyone has semi, and you have text alerts from your favorite market analysis. Memories, need seed, think proceed.
This summer, I'm planning to make memories for a lifetime. Sightseeing, family adventures, long weekends, and the activities I love most. I know my memories will be clear because my vision is vivid thanks to LASIK from Vance Thompson Vision. All the summer activities I love are better with LASIK because I'm free to enjoy life and see the bright, beautiful colors. To make this your best summer yet, visit VanceThompsonVision.com to set up your free LASIK consultation.
With over 900 vehicles in stock, Corwin Auto has you covered. Looking for better fuel economy? We have it with hybrids and electric vehicles. Need more room for that growing family? We have it. Upgrade to a van, SUV, or crossover. Need more horsepower to work and play harder? We have the biggest selection of new and used trucks in the area. Get exactly what you are looking for and don't settle when you can shop over 900 vehicles on the lot and ready for immediate delivery. Corwin Auto has you covered. Shop online, corwinauto.com.
Hail to Bison, right here, your home for NDSU sports. This is Bison 1660.
Final segment, Andy Rickoff and Ross Uglum. Ross, nice enough to join us today on the show. You can watch the show each and every day on our Facebook page, Bison 1660 on Facebook, courtesy of Horsch. How you guys doing out there? Thanks for watching. Horsch, farming with passion, online at horsch.com, HORSCH.com. And we're here inside the glorious Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center, a 175 million gallon per year ethanol plant located just west of Castleton, is one of the nation's largest ethanol facilities. Fuel your future by joining the growing team. View open positions at theraldson.ethanol.com. We had a question from a listener who called in. We want to talk about Billy Turner. We were talking about pro Bison or Bison in the pros, and Billy's a guy that has obviously stuck around and had a very lengthy career, about as good of a career as you could hope for in terms of being a player from NDSU at the time and sticking around with a bunch of teams, played on Green Bay for a while, now back with Denver, and want to know why he's moving around and why he's no longer on the Packers. So perfect that we have Rossi, who covers the Packers as well, and why Billy Turner's now with the Broncos.
Yeah, that one's as simple as Green Bay's draft page on ProFootballReference.com. You go back to these two drafts where Billy was on the roster. 2020, they took John Runyon, Jake Hansen, and Simon Stepaniak. Simon's no longer with the team, but Runyon and Hansen are literally running with the ones right now.
Interior offense.
At right guard and left guard. In 2021, they took Josh Myers, the starting center, Royce Newman, and Cole Van Lanen, 3 offensive linemen. Royce might start. Josh is the starting center. And this year, Zach Tom, Sean Ryan, and Rasheed Walker, 3 more offensive linemen. It's a position that they are very, very, very good at identifying talent. They've been able to, it looks like they got another one in Zach Tom, who's been absolutely unbelievable as far as a pass protector this preseason. And it was a situation where they definitely wanted to upgrade that right guard spot 3 years ago when they signed him, but now they just feel like they're going to be able, whether it's Royce Newman, whether it's playing Elton Jenkins there and having Zach Tom play tackle.
Elton Jenkins ready for week 1, do you think?
Maybe.
That's 'cause I'm a Vikings fan.
Kind of the same thing. Kind of same thing with the other guys where, like, he's working off to the side. He's off a pup.
Mm-hmm.
Does he get some teamwork? Can he play? That's the question.
Yeah.
But that's the answer. Is they thought they could pay some rookie $800,000 a year to do just as good a job and not pay Billy $7 million. And was Billy worth $7 million a year for the last 3 years? Heck yes, he was. Absolutely, he was. filling in at right guard, playing some right tackle, whatever. He's been excellent for Green Bay, but they have so many young, talented guys that there's just, from a financial standpoint, got to move on.
And I'm not surprised he went to Denver because Nathaniel Hackett there,
absolutely
from Green Bay, so he has a relationship there, and thought Billy did a good job because he did, and now he can protect Russell Wilson and help keep that guy upright, and that should be a pretty good offense out there in Denver. You know, it is weird you mentioned, and Green Bay has always been very good at identifying talent late in the draft and getting good offensive linemen. I wish the Vikings were good at that. They've never been good at that. But it's weird how different organizations are always good at identifying like certain positions.
Right.
Even through different GMs, different front office people, different coaches. Like everything turns over, yet they still somehow find offensive linemen. The Vikings position, running back.
Yeah.
Find Adrian Peterson, and they find Dalvin Cook. And this Ty Chandler guy has been really, really good. Like different coaching staffs, different front offices, but each team seems to be really good at finding one thing, at least one thing on both sides of the ball. And right now for the Packers, it's definitely been offensive linemen for a long, long time. One other comment on our Horse Cam on Facebook. Again, you can watch the show there. It has to do with Easton Stick. And John saying, I watched the Chargers game the other night. What's your guys' take on Easton Stick? Reading a lot of mixed reviews, but thought for the most part he looked good considering he was playing with basically no one that will be in the starting lineup for most of the game. I believe a touchdown and an interception. Throwing for Easton Stick this last game, had a rushing touchdown and an interception in game number 1 as well. It's a battle. I mean, my take is it's a battle between him and Chase Daniel to be the backup for Justin Herbert and to be dressed. If Easton Stick doesn't win that job outright, and they've been basically splitting most of the reps there, then it's a question of, are they going to keep 3 quarterbacks or do they release him? Because they're not going to put him on the practice squad because he'll immediately be taken off of that practice squad. So it's probably a release and let him go and let him try and find a spot somewhere else, which I think he would find immediately.
Yeah, I tweeted, like, he's one of the best 64 quarterbacks in the NFL. He just is. You look at what Dallas has going on behind Dak Prescott. That's a complete train wreck. What Minnesota had going on before. You could just.
But they traded for a quarterback today.
I think it would have been, my opinion, it would have been more exciting for them to bring in Stick. I've seen Nick Mullins. I know what that is. And now, this is a biased perspective. Let's be very honest about that. But you could have seen a team like Minnesota. Okay, Kellen's not the guy. Maybe we like what we've seen from Easton. I don't understand what LA is doing. Chase Daniel's old. We also have seen Chase Daniel. You invested a 5th-round pick in Easton. I feel like he's done at least what you've asked him to do. They have said as much. Why is this other guy still
there's a
here?
reason they've kept him. The reason they brought Chase Daniel is because, again, new coaching staff last year. They didn't know about Easton, but they saw him, and they loved him enough to keep him on the team.
Sure.
So, again, this year you like him. Be the backup if you like him that much, or I think he will possibly be somewhere else. Would have loved if he was with the Vikings. That would have been phenomenal.
Sure.
But Nick Mullins has actual game experience. That probably played a role into who the Vikings went and tried to get. Fun show. Thanks, Ross.
Thank you, Andy. This was fun.
Yeah.
Well, opportunity comes up. Call me again.
Tune in on Saturdays. Bison Report Show, leading off our game day coverage Saturdays before football, 6 to 4 hours before kickoff each and every Saturday. That'll do it for the Insiders today. Back with you again tomorrow, 11 to 1.
Finally, beautiful weather is here, and so is a summer of fun. That means more time in your car. Make sure your vehicle is running at one of the 3 locally owned Jiffy Lubes of Fargo. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, it's easy. No appointment needed. Just drive up and drive in for your signature service oil change. Plus a check on